Good afternoon, Allied Nation, and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of AMN Live, where we're going to be celebrating PT Month, as well as talk about some tips and tricks for your hopefully upcoming travel career. My name is Rachel. I'll be your host for this wonderful session, and I am joined by some wonderful folks. But before we get to introducing those lovely ladies, I just want to go down some housekeeping items. If you have any comments, questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. Also want to call out our Instagram page at AMN Allied. You can check us out there. Also want to shout out our Passport app, which is amazing. If you haven't downloaded it yet, got connected with a recruiter, definitely go ahead and do that. You can check out hot jobs as well as some other really fun features on there. Also want to shout out our scholarship contest that is going on. We are accepting submissions through December 15th, where you get a chance to win $5,000. And all those that can submit, our PTs, SLPs, school psychs, and OTs. Again, $5,000 on the line. So submit your scholarship essays by December 15th. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce my special guest. First up, I have Sierra.
Hi, everybody. I am Sierra. I am a recruiter with AMN Allied. And I'll just tell you a little side hobby of mine for funsies. I am a singer, which a lot of people don't know at work. So now you do.
I didn't know that, Sierra. What's your genre of choice that you sing, or do you sing a bunch of stuff?
I do a lot of Adele, but definitely a bunch of stuff. Kind of varies. Did rock music for a little while, so
yes, I love it. Man, you must have some pipes to do, Adele. I love that. All right, next up, we are going to introduce Pri.
Hey everyone, my name's Priyal, or Pri. I'm from New York, born and raised. I've been a travel PT for about 3 years now. I started right after graduating. My hobbies, I love traveling. I love experiencing different cultures. And yeah, I've been traveling for work and for leisure.
Awesome. Thank you, Pri. And we have Sydney.
Hey everybody, my name is Sydney. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I have been a PT for a year and a travel PT for a year, so I started right after I graduated as well. Hobby, I am a newly fond pickleball player. I used to play tennis, and tennis has too much pressure now, so now I have to play pickleball. It's a lot more fun for me. So.
I don't know if it's called like the World Series, but I watched a pickleball championship game. It was pretty intense.
It's intense.
Okay. So very cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Like I said earlier, we are celebrating PTs this month for PT month of October. Thank you for both being physical therapists. And thank you, Sierra, for providing some awesome special guests for this live. So without further ado, let's get into some hot topics, some travel basics, all that good stuff. So this goes out to Sydney and Pri. What are your top 3 first-time traveler tips? So when you're first getting out, top 3 tips.
For me, I would say keep in good communication with your recruiter. I looked up, I have an amazing recruiter, Sierra, so that would be number 1 for me. Second, I would say make sure you have boundaries and expectations for the place that you're interviewing with. Just like they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them as well. So make sure you know documentation and what their caseload expectations are, all of the things. And then lastly, I would say explore your area. You travel for that and you want to meet new people and create a good environment for you and network as well. We can get wrapped up in working so much. So on the weekends, you're like, I just want to lay down. But I would say explore and you'll make some great memories along the way. So
excellent. I love that. Thanks, Sydney. All right, Pri, what are your tips?
Those are all really great. You got the landscapers in the back. Is it too loud?
No, you're good.
Okay. Um, three tips for first time travelers. Ask the right questions. Make sure that you get all the right information about what travel therapy entails so that you know that it's the right decision for you. Tax homes are really important. There's just a lot of information that you want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. But once you are educated, the world is your oyster. It's a great opportunity. You're going to learn how to be a minimalist when you travel. So never overpacking, just essentials. You'll just learn to cut out all the nonsense and all that noise out of your life, which has been great in terms of traveling for work and abroad. And don't overlook the importance of having a great support system within your home, especially if it's going to be your first time away from home. I know that was a huge benefit to me, just my parents supporting what I'm doing, family and friends, and maintaining those long distance relationships, because it could be a little bit difficult in the beginning when you're starting to venture out. But yeah, just make that time to keep in touch. Those are my three.
Love that. My biggest takeaways there, the support system. So support system with your recruiter and support system with your family or those that are close to you. So all around support is going to set you up for success, most definitely.
I'm going to hit y'all with the next question, which is, what are your pointers for the interview process? Which, Sydney, I know you touched on it a little bit, but if we can break it down just a little bit more.
Yeah, so pointers for the interview process. First, show your personality. It's pretty chill, it's pretty relaxed. But it's just like any other interview. You're interviewing them as well. So ask about documentation. What does support look like, especially if you're a first-time PT or a first-time traveler? I would say seeing what the orientation process looks like. Ask them, are you treating on the first day, or do we have a week to like ramp up? Those are like all good questions to ask. So kind of just make sure you have some questions for them. Don't just take the first interview. Make sure it's a good fit, just like Pri was saying.
Yes, absolutely. I remember when I first started out, I would have the interviewers do most of the talking, but you learn that it's really about whether or not the facility is the right fit for you. And so each setting, depending on where you want to work, you'll have different questions that you'd benefit from asking. Whether it's home health and productivity standards or outpatient and scheduling. Just make sure that you're doing your due diligence so that you're not walking in and just surprised at what the facility is throwing at you.
Awesome. Great answers, but I wasn't expecting anything less. Another thing that I want to hint on as far as the interview process, don't forget to interview your recruiters. Like I said before, a support system with your recruiter is super crucial to being successful with traveling. So don't be afraid to ask those tough questions to those recruiters and seeing who's going to be the best fit for you, who you feel is going to be by your side throughout the entire process. So obviously Sydney and Pri did their due diligence because Sarah is pretty awesome. So good work, ladies. All right, next question. What have been your favorite destinations during your travel adventures thus far?
Well, I'm pretty new in the game, not gonna lie. So my first destination was actually my first travel assignment. It was in the North Georgia mountains, like in the wintertime. Oh, it was beautiful. I'm not a morning person, so the sunset and like the white peaks on the mountains, I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So far that's been my favorite.
For me, it has to be California. That's where I was recently. It had been a dream of mine to even go there in the first place, so this was heaven sent. But of all places, Central Valley, California, just aside from the 114 degrees in the summer, just having access to like the beaches and the mountains all within 2 hours of each other, and being able to just explore adventure. and meet some really great people. It's
Very
been a
cool.
highlight. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, get out there. Enjoy your area. Unless you really need a nap. Naps are important.
Yeah, every now and again. Okay, I'm gonna hit y'all with the next one too, which is top 3 must-haves on your travel journey when it comes to stuff you have to remember to pack. Like you would absolutely be lost without it.
Okay, I know this is serious. So fuzzy socks are number 1 on my list. I am a cold girly. I have to have a fuzzy blanket, fuzzy socks, my onesie. So that's number 1. I would say my travel mugs and my travel cups. I try to be a minimalist, but I'm not great at it. And then lastly, I have a folder full of like resources since I've started treating. And that kind of just gives me a guide or something to go back on when I see a case that I haven't seen in a while or something like that. So those are my 3 things.
Definitely good to have those resources. I have a whole checked bag full of just all my books from school, and it's probably the heaviest bag that I have. And I need help carrying it. So, but toiletries and hygiene, if you can consolidate that, that's a big one. Clothes, workout clothes, and then kitchen items. So like I usually just bring one set of plates, bowls, utensils, and spices. I like my food spicy and flavorful. So anything that I wouldn't readily get where I'm going, that's important because your girl likes to cook.
I love that. So excuse me for one moment because home life is causing some issues. But Sierra, I'm going to have you take the next question, okay?
Sounds good. Dogs and babies and house things. Okay, next question. Have you, and y'all better know there's only one right answer to this question, but have you used the Passport app?
Of course. No, seriously, I really do like the Passport app. For starting assignments, it's like my go-to. That's where I know what's expected for credentialing and time cards. Sometimes I forget to put my time card in. So I got to call the number and let them know that I missed some things. Benefits, that's there as well. And then ability to look at some new assignments when it's time, look at the list and see what's available. So yes, we love the Passport.
We do love the Passport. It also has everyone's contact information as a part of your team. So like your recruiter, I've contacted payroll from there, clinical manager, but yeah, timesheet. It's been really convenient and a resource to have that I go back to frequently, like every single week, I would say.
We love to hear that. Passport is our little baby. We love Passport. We love to hear the awesome feedback on the app as well as the website. So thank you for sharing that. And like I was saying, if you haven't found your ideal assignment, peep through the jobs that are available on Passport. It's pretty user friendly, and there you can get connected with a recruiter. You can update your work history. You can enter references. It really is a one-stop shop for all things travel, which is really, really great. All right. So next question. Let's dive into PT-isms a little bit more. As far as certifications, what types of certifications do you feel are good to have when you're out there traveling? Anything specific to the PT realm as far as specialized certifications needed for jobs?
Well, I am not certified yet in anything, but I've taken my level 1 pelvic floor course. So that has been a really good addition to like introduce into my practice because eventually I want to go fully into pelvic floor work. So that's one thing. But you have like OCS and NCS and pediatrics, hand.
Yeah, Sydney pretty much touched on exactly what or how I would answer that question. Basic life support as well as an important certification to have as you're carrying forward in your career. And then of course the access to MedBridge, where you can do your continuing education to help renew licenses and all of that, and just the upkeep with your licensure.
Now, Sierra, since I have you and your recruitment travel expert, do you want to go into our CEU program, new grad program for all those watching?
Sure, I can touch on it a little bit for sure. We do have a MedBridge portal that is accessible to all of our on assignment travelers that are in therapy space. So PTs, OTs, SLPs, PTAs, and CODAs. I think, hopefully I'm right. I think all of those modalities can have access to our MedBridge portal. It's really nice because we actually just give you access rather than having to go and get your own access and then us have to reimburse you for it or anything like that. We just sign you up through AMN and it's super convenient. So that's number one. That's a huge perk of working with us in general. And then we do have a new grad program. I think both of you could probably touch on your experiences with the new grad program a little bit as well. But I know Sydney has been traveling with me straight out of school. So I know she's had some experience with that too, but we do have resources and mentors available for our new grad therapists, specifically mentors available that are not just therapists, but have also been traveling therapists. So you kind of have a hybrid that goes into that when you're looking for a mentor, not just for being a PT but also being a traveling PT. So really good benefits and resources with all of that, especially if you're nervous about coming straight out of school and jumping right into the travel world. I think both of you could definitely maybe attest to that a little bit. I'm sure there was always a little bit of nervousness in school with people saying they were going to go straight into travel, and then you guys did it. So I'd love to know if we can off track just a little bit, like how that benefited y'all and what you would say to other people coming straight out of school, and if it's the right path for most people or things you would think about a little bit with having that new grad program accessible as well.
Yeah, I was a very nervous girl. I was a nervous girly when I first started. So I was like, what can I do for mentorship? I got into travel because I'm like, trust yourself. This will be fun. You can explore, you can learn different settings. But I'm also like, hey, I might need a little help. So I reached out to Sierra about the mentorship program, and I did get a mentor. And they pair you with somebody for however much support you need or how little support you need. Just somebody that you can refer to, ask questions, and they kind of can direct you. Who I had, he's a travel therapist as well, like Sierra said. So that also adds another component of like support that a normal mentor might not be able to provide. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there were a lot of questions that I had, concerns that I had in the beginning, because this is a huge step that you're taking, right? You're moving out of this comfort zone of yours and now entering a world where, hey, a couple of months ago I was doing this as a student and now I'm like everything is changing. Questions about how to go about the interview process or just like etiquette, like, just a whole bunch of like, oh wow, I've never had to do this without a CI. And so that new grad program definitely will help assuage a lot of your concerns. And um, sometimes you just have to take that step and everything else falls into place. And that's what it was a jump of faith with guidance, of course.
With guidance, of course. I mean, it sounds like you both had wonderful experience with the mentorship piece of the new grad program. So just putting it out there, if you want to be mentors for future up and coming travelers, wink, wink. I think you both would be really great at it. All right, so let's hop into some Jeopardy style questions. If you don't give the answer as a question, it's okay. But we're going to rattle off some stuff that will be PT related, obviously, to celebrate this month. So it doesn't matter who answers, but whoever can come off mute first. How many states are in the PT compact?
What is 30?
Very good. Very good. What is 30? And the most recent state to be enacted into the compact is Alabama, which is super exciting. We're starting to see almost all of those Southeast states become part of the compact. So we really, really love that. All right, next
We
question.
need New York and California in there, please.
Listen, I mean, I'll put in a word. Sierra, go ahead and ask the next question.
Okay, what are some non-traditional ways to practice as a physical therapist? Dee-dee-dee.
What is hippotherapy, aquatic therapy, pelvic floor therapy?
So what's, because pardon my lack of knowledge because I'm not a PT, what's hippotherapy? Because aquatic, I understand, and pelvic floor, but what's hippo?
So I worked in pediatrics when I was in school, and we would use horses to help with like postural support with kiddos with CP and things like that. So it's using horses for therapy.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool because you'd think they would use hippos, but that's not really.
I know.
That's really cool though, especially for kids. That must have been like so exciting for them, even though they're going through physical therapy. They're like, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. Wow.
I think hippos might be a little too dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they can squash a watermelon with their mouth, so yeah. That'd be a little scary. All right, let's see. Who are, when you're in a facility, who are the main parts of your team? Like, who do you work the closest with when you're in a facility? And it could be acute, sniff, doesn't matter.
What is occupational therapy, speech therapy, and nursing?
Okay. You guys are really following the Jeopardy style answers. That's awesome. Cool. Okay. So you're keeping in close contact with fellow therapy healthcare professionals and then the nurses, which is very exciting. What do you think is the most important piece of that teamwork? How do you all just keep everything organized and make sure the patient is getting the treatment that they're needing and it's not going awry?
Communication is a big one. I advocate for my patients. Whenever I see an OT, speech therapist, nursing staff, I'm like, okay, this patient, this information, like just on time. That's the biggest thing, communication and in a timely manner.
Awesome. Sydney, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I've been mostly outpatient, so I would say like PTAs, OTAs, OTs. I communicate pretty regularly with. So just everybody knowing their roles and being open to keeping the patient first. That's like the main thing.
I love that. And this is a little bit off topic of what we normally present during these live sessions, but we are celebrating PT month. So please feel free, while we have boatloads of knowledge right here on the screen, drop your questions and comments right in chat for anything related to travel and physical therapy, of course, if you have any of those special questions for our lovely special guests. All right, Sierra, you want to take the next question? We have a couple more in there.
Sure. What is the best type of therapy for joint pain? I don't know the answer, so hopefully one of you got it.
Aquatic therapy, just because it provides that buoyant force, and so there's less stress on your joints, and it's fun.
That sounds fun.
And it's fun. All right. And we'll make this the last question. Again, no particular order, but whoever comes off mute first. What month is National PT Month?
What is October?
Woo, it's October. Yes, we are in the month of October. So just some last final remarks. Please be nice to your physical therapists. They are doing everything in their power to make sure that you are getting healed up and ready to go. Again, please check out our Passport app for those awesome jobs to get connected with a recruiter if you haven't done so already. Again, thank you so much to you three for joining. Sierra, partner, thank you for bringing on our two special guests, our physical therapists, to highlight Physical Therapy Month. And with that being said, I think we're going to call this a wrap. But again, thank you for joining in, and we shall see you next time for our AMN Live session. Thanks all.